Papa, boy.
Mama Dlo.
It's party you're having here and I ain't got no invitation, my old friend.
No party. I was there minding me own damn business. I don't know where all these people come from.
It's been a while since we had visitors in the place. Let me not show bad manners now, Papa. We should introduce ourselves.
Well,
Well, what? It's your forest that make you the host.
all you know, if you want to keep peace in the home, you have to do what the woman say. Welcome to my home. I's Papa Bois, protector of all the trees and animals in the forest.
And I am Mama Dlo, mother of all the waters around this land. All your friends are foes?
They look like foes to you.
I couldn't tell. I didn't even know they still remember us. It's been a while since we had humans in this place.
Yes, and my army of creatures have descended to brooding chickens.
At least to keep away the roaches.
The roaches are my animals too.
They're menaces.
They are my menaces.
You could keep them and your rats.
I smell people.
Speaking of rats, all you ladies hold your men quick for she teeth them way.
You're always so suspicious of an innocent old lady.
Old, yes, but I sure could think of more fitting words than innocent and lady.
Look, welcome, Laja Bless.
Papa boy, you're looking as handsome as ever. Pity your friend here looking like she stand too long in the water.
It have no dance here. Find your way back to the darkness that spit you out.
Look, Mama Dlo, you know that all creatures are free to roam in my forest.
I hope all you're seeing this. As she come, this man lose what little sense he had.
Jealousy, is that?
Take off that veil and show them the face of jealousy, you rotting devil woman.
Temper, Mama Glo, temper.
Look. I know these wonderful people ain't come to see the two of you fight. It's story you come to hear. All right? Don't let these two women here confuse the plot. The magic in my forest is make them little hot. Story you want? Story you gonna get. Some to make you laugh. And others to make you sweat.
Oi! 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 Have you seen her? Have any of you seen her? No, I know she's come this way, but... No, maybe that way. Oh, I don't know which way, but I just know that I've got to find her. Oh. You want to know how? Well, I mean, I'm not quite certain myself. You see, it feels just like 5 minutes ago, and yet almost like an eternity. You lot here must think me mad. Yeah, but I'm not. I can assure you. You see, I'm a learned English man, and I'm just here visiting this island that seems to have enchanted me. My parents, yeah, they always used to tell me about this wonderful Caribbean village life. So I saved them my earnings to come back here and just experience it for myself. And might I add, what an experience it has been. I mean, you lot here, yeah, the people here are so bloody welcoming. My nan's friends, yeah, they invite me over for a bit of dinner. Now, I'm not saying they poisoned my food or whatever, but what I'm saying is they must have put something in my meal because I couldn't get enough of it. What is it? It's sauce. That's it, sauce, and that golden buttery ball of cornmeal and okras just swimming in heavenly stew that's made with fish that fly, and the rum. Oh, good heavens, the rum. So you lot must understand, yeah, that when the villagers invited me over for a bit of a sing and dance, I couldn't pass it up. But of course, for some reason, the singing and the dancing, it did come with a warning, yeah?
Beware the devil woman!
Beware the devil woman. Hear me out here, lads. Hear me out, yeah? If the devil was cast out from heaven, I mean, surely he must have taken his trouble and strife with him. And this island, it's heaven on earth. So I just knew that I had absolutely nothing to fear, nothing to worry about. But for some reason, that taunting refrain,
Beware the devil woman!
kept ringing in my bloody ears. All right, so the night of the dance came, yeah, and darkness, it overtook the land like a swiftly passing train. And after it did that, the man them, they started a bonfire. I mean, it was a kind of thing I've only ever really seen in movies. And after they started the bonfire, this bewitching drumming, it started. And it tasked even the most shy among us to dance. And dance we did while bottles of rum were just going round and round and round. And I swear, yeah, at one point I looked into the bottle and there was a man looking back at me. I mean, he looked like a poor lost genie drowning in fine liquor. Yeah, but I drew the bottle ever so closer, and with a raspy voice, I swear I heard him whisper,
Beware the devil woman! Beware the devil woman!
and that's when I knew I'd simply, completely fallen off my rockers. I'd had enough. I had enough to drink, enough to eat, enough for the singing, enough for the dancing, enough for the lot of it. So I took whatever modicum of dignity I had left and made my way through the reveling crowd to just head to me bed. If I could find my bed. But that's when I saw her. She was the most beautiful vision I'd ever seen. Just there, at the edge of the forest. All right, I couldn't see her face, yeah, but I was mesmerized by the beauty that I couldn't see. And in that moment, I just wanted her, so I begged with her. I pleaded with her to just have a sing, have a dance with me and join in on the festivities, you know what I mean? But when I approached her, she turned and she ran away without uttering a word. It was the weirdest thing. But I still wanted her. So I chased after her once again, but of course, I heard the villagers' fading voices saying in the background once more,
Beware the devil woman! Beware the devil woman!
all right,
Beware the devil woman!
all right. Devil woman this, devil woman that. Whatever you lot here are bang out of order, yeah? Leave it out and sling your hook, please. Because this woman, she was no devil. She glistened like an absolute angel. And I was going to catch me an angel that night. So I chased after her again, but I started getting so bloody frustrated because I couldn't catch her. She was all that was on my mind. And it all started feeling so impossible, because all that I wanted was but now I found myself here with a force of trees behind me, you know, surrounded by whatever the hell you are. Still looking for us, still looking for a way out, so please, if any of you can help me at all right, please. I'm still looking for her, still looking for a way out. She's my only hope, please. Help me find her. Help me find my devil woman.
Tell the story of the devil woman.
Oh, I am so misunderstood.
Search the forest for the devil woman.
Yes, come and find me in these woods.
Don't be tempted by the devil woman.
Attempted? I am quite good.
Take the head of the devil woman.
Oh, I'm sure you wish you could. Devil woman.
But you can't get vexed. The money call you by your name.
Why you don't go get back in your bottle and drink some milk, Baku?
But the poor little tourist man just wanted to have a good time. Now look what you gonna do to he.
Dudu, darling, he do that to himself. And it's not my fault he ain't listen to the voice in the bottle.
Ha! If it only get to he before he done drunk, I gotta save you from you.
Didn't you have a master to go back to, Baku?
Oh, yeah.
Hey! All creatures, whether mystical or natural, are free to roam in my forest. It is only humans who get stuck here, and all because of their own weakness.
That shit is take advantage of.
Well, watch out, pot calling kettle black, Baku.
You're nothing like you, witch.
So what about that time when you turn into a snake and make that poor servant fall off a ledge to his death?
That is an accident.
It is an accident when you cover that farming cowitch and make it go mad just because he say a few bad things about you, Baku?
You know very well. He ain't too nice to talk bad about nobody.
And then they had that time when you hold a whole village hostage and break windows and injure people when you your rocks, Baku.
You know very well it happen how you make it sound. When I done know a hungry man is an angry man. And it's the same thing that goes for me. All you got to do is remember my simple little rule. Now listen. If Baku belly pack, you and me gon' roll like that. But if Baku belly empty, it's trouble, you can see. If Baku belly pack, you and me gon' roll like that. But if Baku belly empty, it's trouble, you can see. If Baku belly pack, you and me gon' roll like that. But if Baku belly empty, it's trouble, you can see. If Baku belly pack, you and me gon' roll like that. But if Baku belly empty, it's trouble, you can see. My name is Boise the Baku. Some call me Mr. Boise. Others call me Buck. But it don't matter what you call me. Just don't call me mischief. Boy's a playful soul and I like to have my fun. But if you don't got my banana and milk or call me by the wrong name, well, I'll just be prone to the occasional tantrum. I remember I had a time when this man found me down by Joe's River. And he took my bottle and started to rub it there like I did a lamb. So I had to stop and ask you there, so, boss man, what you think this is? I ain't no genie. And you for surely ain't no Aladdin. So start dirtying up my glass bottle and take out the cork and let me out, please. So he started to take out the cork in slow motion like he expecting me to ooze out in a puff of smoke. By the time the cork they out, he big two eyes still inside my bottle. Ha! But then, I jump out. Boom! The man is so scared and frightened he not even his pants. And he did look a little confused. So I started to feel a little sorry for him. So I open with some introducements, you see? Good day, my good sir. My name is Boise the Baku. And since it is you that find me, I now belong to you. Now, if you want to keep me happy and our friendship ever true, just remember my simple little rule. If Baku belly pack, you and me gon' roll like that. But if Baku belly empty, it's trouble, you can see. So I come to find out man in there, Frankie. And Frankie make sure he take care of this Baku. But you better shout for me high above all he thinks, but he'd only give you one job, which was to make sure nobody thief nothing from he. But let me tell ya, every morning and evening like clockwork, he had my banana and milk there, boy. Yeah. And it was as though he knew to put sugar water to them banana trees and feed them cows with honey, cause Baku they living the life, boy. But I come to find out that Frankie had a brother that they named John, and that Johnny just so rubbed me the wrong way. So one evening, Frankie bring my banana and milk as he normally does, but not mean to sound a little ungrateful, it a lot more than usual. So I asked him what's going on here. He can't tell me. Boise, I put a little extra banana and milk here for you, cause I gotta leave for a couple of days. So I just put extra in the event that John forget to feed you. Forget to feed me. Forget to feed me, but he can't be right. So I had to tell you straight up. Come now. My dearest friend, you know my love for you is true. You gotta let that Johnny stay in your house. But remember, this deal I made was with you. So tell he no, and tell he again. Make sure that idiot fully aware of my simple little rule. If Baku belly pack, you and me gon' roll like that. But if Baku belly empty, it's trouble, you can see. So my own two eyes and my own two ears, I watch and listen to Frankie give his brother specific instructions. Make sure you give Boise his banana and milk every morning and every evening. Alright? As soon as Frankie left, that idiot took up my bottle and I was looking inside. Mind you, he can't see Baku, but Baku can see he. That fool bird getting reason he don't understand how he brother could waste good food for an empty bottle. So by his foolish reasoning, he ain't taking not one, but two of my bananas. I drink all of my milk. And then to add insult to injury, he getting use my bottle as an ashtray, boy. That had my head so hot that evening, man. Cause when I done know it, they mean war. When I done know, if Baku belly pack, you and me gon' roll like that. But if Baku belly empty, it's trouble, you can see. So I start small that evening now. Move a little chair here and there. Break it down. Sit down the saucepan of food on the floor. Splat! And close the door and keep pace every now and then. Blam! And that Johnny still wasn't getting it. So I had to up my game now. I call for all my animal friends from the forest. I call for the cats, the rats, the ants, the chickens, the mahogany birds. All of them come and attack you one evening. He swiped left. He swiped right. I ain't do nothing. He went to use bay leaf. He went to use bacon. I ain't do nothing neither. All the swiping he was doing, it wasn't doing nothing until all the animals running out of the house. Then I didn't know it was my turn, man. I took out some big rocks about the same size as my bananas. I started to build infinite rocks like he had like in a video game, man. Cause when I done know, if Baku belly pack, you and me gon' roll like that. But if Baku belly empty, it's trouble, you can see. It was action in the gap that evening, man. That Johnny didn't know never to mess with this Baku again. It was only after all the action finally died down, and Baku finally come to his senses, that he remembered he can't felt straight. So all the neighbors' houses in the gaps, the windows, they break.
Come now, Buck. Ease yourself.
Where? Like my Bajan friend. I ain't see you in a while.
Everybody, take off your left shoe quick. Everybody take it off before she turn your head bazodi.
Ignore the witch. If I don't want to catch all ya, I would do it to every sense. But here now, all you want to hear more stories, it have plenty in this forest. And not just creatures like we. They have people like you living here.
Well, they used to be like all, yeah. Now they're dead.
Duppies!
And just like all you come to forget about we, it come that you forget them too.
And them ain't got many like we living to remind them.
Ah, old friends.
Yes, Papa boy. We hear news about people in the forest, so we decide to come and look for ourselves.
It's a good thing all you come. The night ripe for storytelling.
Well, if it's stories one I want, it's certainly stories we could tell.
And if it's stories that you want, You know all you got to start right.
Once upon a story,
Once upon a time, a monkey, balata, and the far white line. Once upon a story, once upon a time, a monkey, balata, and the far white line. Once upon a story, once upon a time, a monkey, balata, and the far white line. Once upon a story, once upon a time, a monkey, balata, and the far white line. When I say crack, when I say crack. Crack!
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 Crack, crack, crack!
Crack, crack, crack!
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 Papa boy! You ready?
Spirits of this great forest, help me tell the story of the specialists. Form the guile and let the rhythm lead you. Help me tell the story of the man, the master, and the poet.
Muma, muma,
Your son in the grave already. Your son in the grave already. Your son in the grave already. Take a towel and bind your belly. Your son in the grave already. Your son in the grave already. Your son in the grave already. Take a towel and bind your belly. Your son in the grave already. Your son in the grave already. Your son in the grave already. Take a towel and bind your belly.
In a place neither near nor far. In a time neither know nor then. An old, frail-looking man who walked like death was calling his name. Nobody in the village knew the man's name, but everyone from the oldest to the youngest simply referred to the man as the specialist. For you see, every morning, the specialist left home and up through the woods, and you ain't seeing it till evening time. Rain, fall, sunshine, it don't matter, you ain't seeing the specialist. And you could understand why. He had a whole little chat house with enough leaks. But the specialist didn't care. All he would say is, this is my house. If it load. A man, a few words with the specialist, but that man was brave. That man could walk at the two young fellas in the middle of a violent fight and quit so fight done. And all he had to say was, run. It's one night darkness and mischief all over the village. And the specialist come home later than usual and brought up on 10 big, broad and manly men with the muscles the size of Popeyes and the brains the size of a mosquito. Now we know not to talk the old man, but not these fools. Hear them. Specialist! Use a special case! A special waste of space! Specialist! You're going back to your hut! Your special coconut! This is my house! If it load! A man, a few words with the specialist, but that you would think they would stop. Not them here then carrying on again. Specialist, your old fragile ass! We gonna make you eat some special grass, specialist! You can take that stick. Give you one special kick. No, we know not to taunt the man nor your house. But nobody ever knew what would happen when you taunt the man's stick. Just then the specialist stand up straight and tall. And then he sneeze. They laugh. But they turn around just in time to see the specialist take up fabric from his back pocket, tie it round the head, and assume the stance. Villagers start to gather around. But let me tell you, the fellas didn't stand a chance, because then we know the stick had a name, Python. Because with 3 artful steps, with unimaginable speed, he'd licking you down 1, ha, and 2, ha, 3, ha. And when there was just one left standing, the specialist just simply look at him and say, run!
Muma, muma, your son in the grave.
Your son in the grave already.
Your son in the grave already.
Take a towel and bind your belly.
Your son in the grave
Your son in the
already. Your
The way you been,
The way you been.
that is the way the story ends.
The story end? Well, the next one best begin.
And wanna know we got enough stories too.
Both the living and the dead.
The dead? That's all like mischief.
And you ain't like no mischief, eh, Buck?
Not mischief, boysy. Mysteries.
And it ain't no university that can rationalize the word legends of we duppies here.
Some people don't believe what them is told. Them only believe what them does see.
Now, it all happened a long time ago. And believe it or not, this story is absolutely true. Because Duppy don't lie. Now, it was the year 1812, and there was a somber mood across the plantation where its owner, Colonel Thomas Chase, had died. Now, Colonel Chase was a terribly wealthy man, and in the case of the terribly wealthy, his family had secured him a burial plot in Christchurch Parish Church, yes? Up the hill from Oystins and next to what is known today as the Foundation School. But that Sunday, when they went up to bury Colonel Chase, they saw the most bizarre sight. Now, Colonel Chase was the first in his family to be buried, so of course they was expecting to see other coffins there. And they did, but not as they had been left before. You see, as soon as they opened the vault door, swoosh! A breath of death rushed past him in a cloud of dust, and as the air cleared, all the coffins and remains were scattered all across the floor. As you know, that's when the whispers started.
Well, how the coffins get so?
It must be some earthquake or magnetic
I
interference.
mean, I'm on an earthquake. Only duppies that feel earthquake.
Man, I did always know them chases they do it over here.
I tell one of that somebody is thieving them coffins there, so
Man.
can't watch my old there.
Listen, I feel it's because they can't get along with the living.
So them must take them cross to the grave.
Rumors spread far and wide across the island about the mysteries of the Chase vault. Now the family, they won't admit to any dealings with Obeah. And nobody didn't want to admit to any family conflict. But you remember what I tell you, right? Duppy don't lie. So that Sunday after the funeral, they fixed back the coffins in a very specific arrangement. And then the vault was sealed. And as things go in Barbados, a few weeks' time, everything seemingly went back to normal. Until 4 years later, when another member of the Chase family had to be buried. And the same thing happened again. As soon as them opened the vault door. Swoosh! A breath of death rushed past him in a cloud of dust, and as the air settled, surely enough, there they all were. All the coffins spread across the floor. The same thing happened the next year, and then 2 years later. Breaths, death in a cloud of dust. A vault in disarray, and you know now, the villagers had a lot to say.
Not me, Bozy. I want nothing to do with that family.
I don't tell one of that somebody is thieving the Chase door there, so better watch my old there.
I'm taking what? That's a curse that upon that family. They may never get rest in peace.
I bet there has somebody wicked that did before them.
Whether it's thieving or Obeah, that family is cursed.
As fast as the wind blows, the news of the mystery of the Chase vault reached the ears of the governor. Now, the governor was sure that there was trickery, and he was determined to catch the culprit. So at the last funeral here, what he do? He presided over the burial and watched as his official seal was forged into the concrete. Then the vault was sealed. Because if any living person was to tamper with it, you know, the seal would be broken and it would be known. But no governor seal can't stop a duppy fight. So the vault had to be opened again. And the watchman didn't see nobody visit the tomb. And the seal was still intact. Yet there was still fear in the hearts of the men that had to open that door. You should have seen them. They hesitantly tiptoed down the steps. 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps, so quietly, like if they was trying not to awake the dead. And then there they were, standing at the door of a mystery, about to unveil the curse of the Chase family once again. They knocked, ears keenly prickling if they was expecting somebody to answer. But satisfied that there was no mischief afoot, they ever so slightly ease open the vault door a little bit. Nothing. So they get brave and they push a little further. Nothing. So then with one valiantly strong push, they pushed the vault door open, everybody was standing there, and then nothing. But as soon as them stepped foot into the vault, swoosh! Another breath of death brushed past him in a cloud of dust. Surely enough, as the air settled, body parts, remains, coffins, all thrown all over the floor. The authorities were sick of it. So here what they do. They take out all the coffins and buried them all separately. So you know that the dead could finally rest in peace. And if you don't believe me, you could head up to Christchurch Parish Church and look for the vault, because you remember what I tell you, right? Duppy, don't lie.
But them exaggerate the truth, though.
All a part of the fun, Buck.
Don't mind. I love them stories, eh?
They used to talk plenty about us.
And they're scared of we too.
No, Buck. It's respect. They used to respect we, eh?
Times change. And then I got time to sit down and listen to stories like these.
But all you're enjoying the stories, and? So all you're enjoying the stories, and? Well, we have more stories to give you. Some that you may say are fake. Others that you may say could have happened. Some of the living and the dead.
Ladies and gentlemen, especially the gentlemen, all ya come. Let me tell ya a story.
All your fellas don't fall for that trick.
Ain't no tricks here. I just telling the people about Sucky.
It's a long time I living in this forest, and I never see you call nobody to follow you, so
Let me ask you a question. When you gonna stop the war, eh? When you gonna stop the war?
Ain't no war, Papa. I'm just making sure the people know. Unlike you and me, this devil woman have no intention to protect nobody.
So why you don't talk about the blood sucker?
Look, we don't talk about her around here.
But why not? If we go remind the people of the stories, we got to tell them about Sucky. She was one of we one time.
You ain't know that. And even so, that time long gone.
Leave it alone.
Listen, the big guardians of the forest a little scared of a vampire story. But I go tell all ya.
I hope all you have plenty rice. Because if you call she name tonight and she appear, it's only rice rains that go save all ya.
A story. A story. Let it come.
Let it go.
They had a little village just outside this forest. And everybody used to macko. Or, as all your patients to say, malicious in people business. But it didn't have no kind of fear, nor violence. And everybody was happy. Until one day, this old wrinkled-up lady named Suki moved into the furthest part of the village. And it just so happened that as soon as Suki reached, strange things started to happen. And the strangest of them all was the unexplainable deaths of babies. Now, you might say that babies die every day, but this was an ordinary kind of death. The children had what looked like bite marks on their bodies, and I ain't never seen no kind of mosquito leave them kind of marks so yet. So as well, people started to murmur.
So what are you really telling me? How these things only start happening when Suki come out the place?
And why she always out the house before daybreak? She don't sleep home.
Or why she has only met friends of people in the village that got children?
Quick so, everybody started saying that
Suki is a old hag.
And that Suki is short for
Suki.
Now, my name might mean devil woman, but This old hag was a different kind of evil. This is she make deal with the devil himself to shed she skin and turn into any kind of animal. But the real evil is when she turn into a ball of fire, sneak through any keyhole or crack in your house and suck your baby's blood till it dry up and dead. And it's so people accuse Suki.
Alright, pack your bag and go out from out here.
But Suki would just keep walking like she can hear a word they're saying. And the villagers, they started to get vexed and they started to fret the old hag on the loose. But they had one woman, Mums, they call her. She didn't fret of no old hag. She tell them, bold face,
This ain't the first old hag to come about these parts. And it ain't gonna be the last. I gonna teach one of how to protect your children and catch she. Get the rice. Skipper, get the rice.
Mums didn't spare no details in the plot. She tell them that if they want to catch the old hag, they got to buy a bag of rice and spread round the children beds.
Get out there.
But the women, they did so scared and desperate. They buy about 20 bags of rice and spread round the whole house. And the men, they went to grab whatever weapon they could find, bat, wood, sword, whatever they could find to catch she. But that night, it was so quiet that every man and woman started to fall asleep. But they had a dog in the distance. It started to bark like it could sense evil was in the air. The old hag had started to approach the house. But wait, they got rice grains on the step. The old hag turned into a ball of fire, dropped to the ground, and started to count every grain of rice. And the dogs in the distance started to make a frenzy. They started to bark and bark and bark. And they wake up every man and woman. The women went to grab the children. And the men with their bats, woods and swords, they come with their weapons and they try to beat she. Oh God, they beat she. They beat us. And with all the beating she gets, she ain't stop counting them rice grains yet.
Morning come, and they still beating that woman.
And to this day, we don't know whether Suki was the old hag.
They beat that woman till she dead, and children still get sick and dead after she gone.
So that's why we don't like to talk about Suki. Because they could have killed an innocent woman who was simply cut.
And now my story, it's done.
Let it go.
And let it come.
All of that just to make them feel they might have a worse
I
wish
ain't
than you.
had to tell that story for that. Look, you right
How
here.
about next story? I got one that ain't too far removed from the town that we living in now.
Oh God, tell me now.
A time not too long ago, in a place not too far away from here, there used to be a man that went door to door selling all kind of things. Bright and early on a Saturday morning, you would catch him walking through every street in the village. Here he,
Pots and pans, curtains and rugs. Pay me later what you can. Pay me now what you could. Lamps and string lights, bowls and dishes. Pay me later what you like. Pay me now what you wishes.
he did know everyone in the village by name. And he does know when you does be home. When Christmas time come round, he done have everything you did want to pretty up the place. And you know how we Bajans stop. We just be happy to buy something, take it home, and pay bit by bit as the time pass. But this salesman did nobody to mess around with. Once you buy something from he gonna make sure and come back and ask for a little $5 or $10 to put on the card to pay off. And you know how we mothers then send them children outside to meet the salesman.
Man, the coolie man outside.
Tell you I ain't home. Tell you I ain't home.
My mommy told me to tell you that she ain't at home.
everyone they know that if you buy sign from the salesman and you ain't pay it yet, you better pay he twice the amount that you owe he the next time he come around. Cause he ain't wanna make you vex or make you feel like you thiefy merchandise from he and ain't wanna pay for it. But Ma had to learn the hard way. 6 weeks now she did avoiding the salesman. When the next Saturday come around, he make sure to change his tune a little bit.
Child, tell your mother outside.
She told me to tell you to come back tomorrow.
Alright, tell your mother I'm gonna come back tomorrow and she better got me money. Pay me big or pay me small. It don't matter. As long you pay me all. Run and hide when I come and collect. Ha! You're gonna be sorry. Your tipping ways you will regret.
And true enough, the next day he come back. And he seen out that the house still locked up tight. With a little note on the door saying, "We going to church. Come back tonight." The salesman did had enough. He did gonna send his friend to come deal with she. After all, 6 weeks now and he can't get his money yet. So he left from about the house. And Ma peep out from behind she curtains. The same ones that she did buy from he. Ma peep out. Make sure he de gone. Then went long punchy day. The night come. And Ma de start to hear this strange sound coming from outside.
There! What's that sound out there, son?
And not just any donkey. One of the steel variety. When Ma realized what it was, she went, she looked at she house quick, and went hyper under the table. That sounded tormenting Ma. She child the whole night. When the sun rise, Ma and she child they walking about the house looking more dumpy than we. Then went down by the church to ask and beg the priest to pray for the house. But no prayers gonna work. Not till the salesman, they get his money. So when the night come, the donkey come with it. At this time, the grandest of thunderous and sound like raindrops beside the big rocks, they hit him from the roof. The shark couldn't take it no more.
Why you just don't pay my money?
And so she did. Ma went and asked every neighbor, any family member, anybody for a little $5 or $10 so that she could pay the salesman. And when she had got enough, before the salesman could even knock on the door, the child had run out and say,
Look, Ma told me to tell you that she ain't home, but look your money. Please stay here still, don't care, go away.
and so he did. The salesman count up his money, make sure it all there, and went long for the day.
Pots and pans, curtains and rugs. Pay me later what you can. Pay me now what you could. Lamps and string lights, bowls and dishes. Pay me later what you like. Pay me now what you wishes. And the moral of the story is, when you buy things from people, make sure you pay them back on time before you send somebody to steal donkey for you.
But why is it that all your humans just make we do all your dirty work, eh?
True. You know that oftentimes we are blamed for the wrongdoings of the mortals.
It's true, Papa. While some of us might have a little mischief and some the devil, it got some maybe that is only fight when one of us with forests and rivers and ting.
But you know, there are some human stories more frightening than ours.
For true, them used to tell stories to get them children to start behaving right. It's like we gotta start telling them stories again that way their children getting on nowadays.
I remember when we were still children among the land of the living. There was a story we used to hear so much that not a single girl or boy used to be out of the house after dark. A time not so long ago, in a different Barbados, when the land was fertile, sugarcane plantations was more plentiful than potholes, and respect was still a word that was understood by young children.
I know that this starting to sound like a fairy tale already, but this ain't a fable. This story is as true as we stand before you tonight.
Barbados used to thrive on producing sugarcane. And if you know how sugarcane does grow, then you know that although the place basically had bush. Life in BIM was fairly simple. My father used to get little 10 cents a week for the work he used to do on the plantation. And that 10 cents used to feed the entire household.
Try surviving on even $100 a week for the whole family. Can't do it.
We're happy people. Ain't know about internet or cable TV. Ain't had no smartphones. But we did learning with lessons and things from the stories we hear from the elders in the household. Everybody did know about Anansi
We did love he.
and Aesop fables.
We don't hear much about them no more.
But every once in a while, a new story was made up to explain unthinkable happenings and to warn children about unthinkable dangers. This is one of those unthinkable stories. The story goes like this.
And we don't know how true it is.
But one night, not long before the crop season did begin, a group of children playing outside noticed something rather unusual. It was just before dark and the sky had an ominous fiery glow. As was the norm, children were running through the fields, playing ring games and singing songs. They knew that once the sun was setting, it was time to head inside. So the children broke the barrier of the tall canes and stepped into the road. And that's when they saw it. For the third time that week, a most unusual hearse, driving slower than a turtle could run, the driver dressed in all black, peering at them from beneath the shadow of his broad-rimmed hat. But this evening was different. This evening, he stopped, and without saying a single word, reached his black-gloved hand through the window and beckoned them with a handful of sweets cradled between his crooked fingers. The children screamed and scattered, all of them running to the safety of their own homes. All of them except one boy. Grantley could have never said no to sweets.
Duppy does know who to frighten.
Is that this undertaker wasn't a duppy? The next day when the children wanted to play in the fields, their parents kept them inside. They had heard the news that Grantley hadn't come home the night before, so the authorities sent out a search party. But no one could have guessed what they found. There, in a clearing in the forest, Grantley's body, surrounded by iron, candles, and sweets.
Somebody call him, mother.
His eyes and mouth wide open, his body stiff, as if fear had grasped the very core of his soul. But perhaps the most horrifying thing was the story that was told of how it looked as if a clawed beast had ripped Grantley's heart from his chest and feasted on it right there, next to his lifeless, mangled body. This was no mauling, and this was no random murder. This was a sacrifice.
And so the story of the heart man was born. A man who wasn't quite alive, because him had no heart, but had to take the hearts of innocent, unsuspecting children to keep himself alive.
The villagers mourned for poor Grantley, and paranoia and suspicion took hold of what was once a very trusting village.
Everyone selling sweets was a potential killer.
And questioning eyes kept watch of all undertakers.
Children were told to go straight home after school.
Perhaps the heart man knew that the villagers were on the prowl, because soon after, him and his hearse
vanished. But then, in another part of the island, far removed from the terror of his evil, the Heart Man began a new hunt. This time in a small blue car, still luring children with sweets. One by one, he plucked them from their villages and carved their hearts from their bodies. And then, when his crusade of terror was finally over, his story continued to be told to children.
Do as your parents tell you, or the Heart Man will come a-calling.
Do as your parents tell you. You better heed my warnings.
Don't cause them no ill will or pain or strife.
Because the Heart Man is waiting patiently to take your heart and end your life.
And now that psycho serial killer turned into a folklore character.
Well, if you could be one.
Look, to all ya, these fine people in come to see to all your fight. It's stories that come to hear tonight.
Why are you looking at me, Papa? Don't tell my story.
Age before beauty, devil woman.
For true, Mama Glow. We ain't hear your story yet. Come, peoples. You just gotta do a little chant so we could get Mama Glow to tell us her story. Mama Glow.
Mama Glow.
Keeper of the sea.
Keeper of the sea.
Mama Glow.
Mama Glow.
Show yourself.
Show yourself to me.
Mama Glow.
Mama Glow.
With your mysteries
With
to
your
show.
mysteries to show.
Mama Glow.
Mama Glow.
We are friends.
We are friends,
friends.
not foes.
Before the world became as it is today, there was a young woman named Remy who was thought to be a curse to her village because she could bear no children. But despite this, her husband loved her dearly. Now, Theo, her husband, was a fisherman, and each night he would go down to the river and cast his nets, but catch barely enough fish to feed himself and his wife. Poor Remy thought that this was because of her barrenness. Then one night, Theo heard a loud noise as though something had lashed the water. Startled with fear, he hid behind a tree, peeping out to see if he could see the creature that made the noise. But he saw no one. Yet the breeze seemed to hum a gentle and hypnotizing sound. Then he could control his curiosity no more and followed the luring sound. Now his father had told him stories of Mama Dlo, but he himself had never seen me. So he closed his eyes and called out to me.
Mama Dlo, keeper of the sea. Mama Dlo, show yourself to me. Mama Dlo, with your mysteries to show. Mama Dlo, I'm friend, not foe.
When Theo opened his eyes, there I was, combing my hair in my beloved mirror. And I turned to him and said, "Call me sweetly, and we will have fun. But if you betray me, to my wrath you will succumb." That night, Theo stood by me, enraptured by my beauty. He told me stories of how his wife could bear no children and how he could barely catch enough fish. His life was so full of hopelessness, and yet he asked for nothing. So I made him a promise. I'd bless his nets with fish and his wife with a child, but he must continue to call on me every night. And each birthday at midnight, he must bring that child to me, and I would bless her. When Theo went to pull his fish from the nets, he struggled greatly, for they were laden with fish. And the following week, he let me know his wife was with child. Theo was elated, and when the child was born, he named her Bunme, for she was my gift to him. Then one night, I sat and I waited for Theo, but he never came. I sat until the sun rose, but he never came. Days had turned into months, months turned into years. He had forgotten his promise to me. He had betrayed me. Then one night, I heard the most familiar sound coming from the water's edge. It was Bunme. She had found her way back to me. After all, she was my daughter. Her presence cooled my rage. And much like her father, Bunme would come to spend nights with me. And when I know I had gained her trust, I asked her to bring her father to me. And surely enough, she agreed. The following week when Bunme returned, she was relaxed. But Theo was anxious. He must have known he had angered me. And that fear grew when he saw Bunme jump into the water and dive below the surface. Eager to save his only child, he jumped in to save her, but heard my voice instead. Call me sweetly, and we will have fun. But if you betray me, to my wrath you will succumb. Theo begged and begged for his only daughter.
Please don't take Bunme. Please don't take my daughter. It was I who betrayed you. Please, take me instead, please.
No, I am a reasonable creature. And he was right. It was he who had betrayed me, not Bunme. So I released her from my grasp and kept him in mind instead. When Bunme reappeared, she asked, "Where's my father?" When I pointed to the water, there he was, as young and handsome as the night I had first met him. Except this time, he was a mermaid, and my gift to her was now his to give, for her to call him from the water whenever she wanted to see him. And if you listen closely, you can still hear the solemn cries of Theo against the crashing waves.
So it's like what they say. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned.
Call it what you want, but like the salesman and the bailiff, I go collect what is mine.
What all you need to understand, that Mama Dlo and I are protectors. Whether it be the forests or the waters, whether it be the animals or the humans, we ensure that everything is safe. So when all the humans and they want to take advantage and they want to destroy and they want to build your highways and byways through the forests and they want to abuse we magic, that is when we get on mad like we make ourselves. Crick, monkey breaky back.
Oh, piece of rock.
I remember one time it have a man who used to use a path to get to the other side of the forest. Once a week, at the same time, he used that path. I watched that man for weeks, and something about him didn't smell right.
You mean like he needed a bath?
No, Buck. Something didn't smell right. Like he was up to mischief. Later I found out that he was trying to set traps for the animals. One day he walking normal through the path. And he brought me up sitting in the middle of the path. He watched me and say,
Oh man, get out my way.
now I had to look around to see who he was talking to. You come to my house and get on like you own the place? You're real bullface.
You house? Oh man, you better mind your place.
You know, Papa Boy is a very gentle, kind person. But something about that man had my head hot. Yo, I let him pass. Not today, Papa. Not today. Second time, he brought me up. Same time, same place. He say,
Oh man, get out my way.
now the first time you're rude to me, I may give you a little chance. I know you might be having a bad day, job cuts looming, COVID booming. You might be having a tough time. But the second time you come and you're rude, not today, Papa. Not today. Next time he come, same time, same place, same story, except I watch him and I ask, is where I really come into the forest to do? That is when the man showed me him gun. And I don't mean he was inviting me to inspect it. He pointed it at my face. Now, you know, Papa boy is an old man. I can't fight no gun. So I let him pass. But as him pass, I say a little whisper. And I blow a little. And that disgusting rude man turned into a hog. Crick, crack. Monkey break it back.
Oh, piece of rat.
Oh, I love it when you take charge, Papa.
Hey, look. I think we should go forward before the two of them start a brawl.
I think it's time we say goodbye to you all.
Don't be strangers, come back soon.
It have endless stories we could tell you.
Some to cause fright and some to make you happy.
We got stories that could go on all night.
This forest is our home, open all the way through.
And we'll keep you safe if this one thing you'll do.
Share what you've heard. Share it far and wide.
Tell them how you laugh.
And tell them how you cried.
You can change up the tales.
We don't mind if you do, but
Don't
don't
forget
us.
Because we won't forget
forget
you.
you.
Hi, I'm Naila Aimoja, and you've just watched an exciting production of Tales in the Forest. And I have the honor and pleasure of speaking right now to the writer and the director of the play. Join me. Hi, Michelle.
Hi.
And how does it feel to have seen the production?
It was really quite refreshing. I think it's the first time that this particular piece has been directed by someone other than myself. So it was really a joy to see what Nala did with the production, the characters, bringing them to life. So it was really quite exciting.
I have to ask you also, I know some of your work, and so I want you to place this play with your work in terms of your objectives as a writer.
Well, my objective has always been to bring Caribbean and Barbadian heritage to the fore. So that is a major thing for me in all of my work. It tends to be either historical based or heritage based or, you know, steeped in the folklore and culture. So it varies according to the production. This one is very special to me because it merges my two main Caribbean experiences being Barbados and Trinidad. So it really is a very special play for me. I'm sure my Trinidadian friends will be smiling because they will see some of the references that they know that I'm very close to as well. Yeah. So it's really special.
I found that merging particularly exciting actually. It's one of the things I enjoyed. So Nala, how was it for you producing this? Particularly in a non-traditional.
Well, the truth is that non-traditional spaces appeal to me. That's always been my thing. I've never been too firmly married to the idea of audience and performance. So this space, I mean, look at it, it's almost begging to be the set for this specific piece, you know. It was like coming home.
Lovely. And what about having to marry the idea of translating something meant for stage to this open stage and then considering recording it?
All right, so here's the thing. The idea was to kind of film it like a play, which I'm gonna be a little presumptuous and assume probably meant when it was said to film it so you can see an audience and a playing space. What we kind of went for is to film it the way that you would experience it if you were there live. because watching this live, there's a certain vibe that being in an alternative space and being surrounded by actual bush when they come out of the bush, that somehow allows the characters to seem more like they really do have hairy legs and horns and scales and them kind of things. So we didn't want to shoot it like a movie, but there are some moments where you bend it a bit so that it mimics what you would get here that you can't get just, you know, looking at it as a camera experience.
I can see those elements coming through. And so it's going to be really interesting to discuss with the actors their experience of, you know, having that feeling of being in nature in a story that clearly takes place in the forest.
And anything they say about me being bad-tempered and cantankerous is a lie.
Pure lies. I
Yes,
don't know.
it never happened.
Yes, I
Never.
do. Yes. Thanks. Thanks
Thank
both
you.
of you. Take care.
Thanks a lot.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So, Mr. British tourist.
Yes.
I'd like to know, I need to knock off the British accent, but seriously, what was the experience like for you performing in this non-traditional story?
Tiring, different, but overall exciting. It was a new experience and one that I would actually be fairly happy in doing again.
Okay. Why tiring?
The overall process of the entire thing, you know, just finding this new character that you've never played before, doing the research that went into it. You can't just do everything off the top, right? Because it wouldn't come off as original as you would like it to. So it can be pretty difficult, and you may not even always get what you want in the end. But once it's enough, hopefully you can just move forward with that.
What kind of research did you have to do for your part?
Accents. I had to research a bunch of accents. I learned about a few that I never heard of before. So I learned about Essex British accents. I learned about MLE. That's multicultural London English. So it's where it would be, they live in England, but they live in London, England. And it would be Asian cultures, Caribbean cultures, and all these different mixtures that will come together and actually form a new accent within London. I found that amazing, right? So there was that. I can't remember the name of the accent, but the one that Hagrid speaks from Harry Potter.
Yeah.
That's more
Some
so the
northern,
northern west side of London. I learned about scouse, which sounded really familiar to souse, but scouse, that is a dish. Traditionally, it has in beef, carrots, potatoes, that is centered in Liverpool, because it's something that the sailors would eat whenever they used to come in from the dock. So a lot of knowledge went into it.
A lot of things,
but so I just try to use that to the best of my ability and bring that out within my character.
Okay, so which accent did you settle on?
A mixture of three. Multicultural London English. A bit of the western side, so I sound a bit Scottish and a bit Irish. And a third one, but I can't remember what the third one is yet.
Yeah, but I can hear it though.
A bit Cockney.
Thanks for granting me this interview. What's your real name?
Kyle Cozier.
Good to meet you, Kyle.
Usually.
Ladia Bless.
Yes, please.
And your real name?
I am Tiffany Amber Williams.
Tiffany.
Yes, please.
What was it like playing this supernatural creature?
It was really fun. It was a bit of a stretch for me because I'm not that type of person, and she's known to be the devil woman, so I'm not nowhere close to that. Tiffany is nowhere close to that. So it was really fun to be able to dig into that and to find that space, and to take on a mysterious outlook.
Your makeup is just captivating. I'm seeing it up close and it's wonderful. Did you have to do a lot of research as well?
I did. I looked into the Trinidadian accent, as well as just finding out more about Laja Bless and seductress. What is a seductress? How can I use my manipulative ways to create what I want, to get what I want, to find happiness in a weird way, if that makes sense.
The conflict between you and Mama Joe, it seemed very real.
Yes.
What did you have to source? What was the inspiration?
You dig a little deep and you find ways to work around that conflict, and if I've ever had any conflict, and I've definitely had conflict in my life with other people, you know, whether male or female or whoever, I've had just to find that and source that and remember what that is like within Tiffany and kind of transform it into Laja Bless and how she would portray that.
Is that what actors do?
Yes.
Okay. I have to ask. I'm not an actress. So
Yes,
you know,
yes.
I have to ask these things.
Very much so.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And it was a wonderful performance. I
Thank
really
you.
enjoyed it very much.
Thank you so much.
Yes. And now, Mr. Baku.
Hello.
Mr. Baku.
Yes,
What's your real name?
actually, my name is Kimal Marshall.
And I was fascinated with your performance, and really, I really want to know. Did you like rehearse with the tree? Because you seem to be so much in one with the tree.
Yeah, I did rehearse with the tree. Like for the first day, like Nala asked us to find a space, and I found the tree and all that stuff. So in my head, I wasn't thinking about climbing up in the tree at first, but then I was like, yeah, I can climb up the tree. I haven't climbed the tree like since I was probably like 12 or 11. So climbing the tree was something I found interesting to be extremely terrifying because I'm afraid of heights.
Really?
Yeah, believe it or not.
No, I don't actually believe it, because I watched you during the production and you were crawling along the branch, and at one point I saw you like a snake, like kind of your legs were entwined. I was like, what?
Yeah, because like I had to figure out new ways to how to make sure I don't fall off the tree, because that was obviously the major fear, falling from the tree. But with my dance history and my dance ability, I was able to interlock my heels and make sure that I don't fall off a bit and hold on to it tight for dear life, and to ensure that I am safe throughout the entire process and stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, you just answered one of my other questions, because I was going to ask what kind of physical training prepared you. Are you a gymnast?
No, I'm not a gymnast. I wish I was actually. But I'm actually a dancer, trained in ballet, contemporary dance, and Caribbean dance. After I studied theater arts, I went on to study dance. So I was able to combine both my love for acting and my love for dance into one with this character. So it came in handy.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that wonderful performance.
You're so welcome.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Now, I'm supposed to meet two actors somewhere around here. I'm not sure where they are. Two duppies. Oh my goodness. Duppy 1 or 2? I'm not sure who. Duppy 1 and Duppy 3. Wow, what is your real name, Duppy 1?
Stephon Martin.
Stephon Martin.
I'm Melissa Hunt.
And Melissa Hunt. And I mean, what was it like actually preparing for these roles?
Quite uncomfortable at first. It was a new norm for me. Well, not a new norm, but it was something new for me. Never been a duppy before, obviously. I'm not really versed. I'm not really very good at dancing, but it opened my body and mind into a new experience in general.
And having to be off stage, like in bushes, I mean, were you afraid that you might butt up on some real duppies?
Yes. Oh. I didn't think it was the duppies I was going to butt up on. I think some other creatures in the forest that I was afraid of. Especially just now, I was like, But preparing for the role was interesting because one of the directions we got was like on our voice and how to be undead people, but not necessarily have the Americanized version of a vampire or whatever. And although we hear about duppies in our everyday life, we never really
study what a duppy is like.
study how to vocalize it and stuff like that. So that was interesting to have to do.
Did it take a lot of preparation?
Every role takes a lot of preparation, and it did.
And how do you feel after the performance?
I feel fulfilled. I don't know. I feel like I've overcome a big milestone in my life. Like through this whole experience, dancing, singing a little bit, like coming out of my comfort zone and doing those things, and storytelling in general.
I was going to ask you about the storytelling, because both of you had significant roles when it came to that.
Yes.
If I remember correctly, you told the story about the specialist.
Yes.
And yours was the heart.
Chase Vault.
Chase Vault. There you go. Yes. So, did you have to research anything in order to, really embrace this story?
Honestly, every experience I've had before in theater always leads me to my next experience. So my last performance on stage was my first time storytelling, and that was a big hill that I had to climb. But then I came here today, and I would not have to say, "Oh, I never do this before," because I did. It was still a challenge, making sure that you always improve from your last performance, but I enjoyed it, and it taught me something that I'm sure is going to help me in the next
performance to come.
And I'm sure. And we enjoyed it so much. So thank you both. Wonderful
Thank you.
performances. I'm supposed to meet 2 others. I wonder if they got any more out here. My goodness gracious me. The things I do for art. I honestly didn't see you guys coming. Ducky 2. Ducky 4. Oh my goodness, what are your real names?
My name is Sky Lambert.
I am Shakoti Baker.
Hi Sky, hi Shakoti.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Thank you. Your performances were fantastic.
Thank you.
The storytelling was lovely. I remember Heartman and
Steel Donkey.
And Steel Donkey. 2 popular Bajan tales. So what was it like performing, in this setting, this particular play, the stories that you told? What experience was that like?
I felt more of a tie to the land, being able to portray the salesman in the Steel Donkey story. Every day I see the salesman still these days driving through, selling the chairs and the buckets and the baskets, and being able to visualize that now, if I don't pay him, something is going to come and get me. It's going to haunt me until I pay him. And I think I felt more connected to Barbados in itself and its history, and I think I was able to envision that through my character, being able to remember my history and then the present and tying that in together.
Yes.
And
Beautiful.
I felt a comfort in that.
Yeah, and I want to ask you about that, and Shakoti, maybe you can answer that as well. What connections do you see between the characters, not just the characters you're playing, but the characters you spoke about, right, the Heartman and Steel Donkey, and modernizing them, bringing them into our pop culture?
Yeah, I find that in a lot of other places in the world, they're very good at keeping their creatures present, whether it be reboots, reimaginings, whatever the case, cosplay. There's a lot of different avenues that they use to keep these creatures, these tales alive. So I think that we can, as a people, in general, because I do believe that people are starting to forget. So if we could implement these tales, these creatures, this story into our culture more, things like AnimeCon. There are people that cosplay Bajan inspired things, but it's not necessarily folklore characters, and they are different from what they have overseas. So if we put more effort into putting our own spin on it, I think we'll have a lot more vitality in our culture and our creatures, and our stories will continue on in that way.
And it's so wonderful to know that we have this generation looking out for that. Papa Bois, Mama Plo, thank you so much for allowing me to grace your forest.
Welcome.
Thank you. Papa Bois, starting with you. What did you have to draw on? What inspiration did you have to pull from to play such a powerful character and so convincingly?
But you must understand, Papa Bois is the protector of the forest. So it was just a matter of thinking about that thing that you treasure most in your life and what you would do to protect it and guard it. So I drew on that because there are some things in my life that I would protect with my very being. That is what I used.
It's so convincing. What do you call yourself when you are not in character?
When I'm not in character?
Yes, sir.
I am just called Angelo.
Very pleased to meet you, Angelo. And Mama Glow, your name, please.
Naomi Green.
Pleased to meet you.
You too.
And you played this character so convincingly also and so beautifully. I wanted to know if playing this character had any influence on you personally, and if so, what that might be.
I would say yes. I would say my physical characteristics as well, not just my mind. This character, to me, she's regal, she's strong, she's a divine woman, and so I want to take that with me in everyday life, try to sit a little better. Generally, I'm kind of a nervous person, so I would like to take from her confidence. She's sure about everything, she knows exactly what she wants, so that I would like that character to influence me in that way.
beautiful. Thank you so much for granting me this interview. And congratulations on the wonderful show.
Feel free to visit again.
Thank you so much, sir. I probably will. And so there we have it, a brief look behind the scenes at the Tales in the Forest. I trust that you've enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed showing it to you, and as much as you enjoyed the play. Maybe we'll be back again next year for another episode and a meeting with these strange characters. Hopefully there won't be too many duppies around. Good night.